Hi, this is Maggie. I'm going through Saturn through the houses and signs. I left off on, well, I did the fourth house, so this will be the fifth house. Saturn is in the fifth house or transiting the fifth house um, in Leo, fire sign, fixed fire, Leo. Um, it could cause um, some restriction, separation, or delay, maybe in pursuing some form of self-expression. You know, it may take you years to perfect your craft, or it could give you a very serious outlook, you know, in some of your roles, perhaps. Um, or like if you're doing videos, it could give you a more serious outlook on maybe political affairs or something, but it gives a more serious tone, and especially if it's in the fire signs, it kind of dampens their buoyant enthusiasm a little bit and just makes it a lot more serious. Um, yeah, so you know that could be a benefit if you're working your way through, you know, acting school or Juilliard, you know, Academy of Music or something like that. You know, perfecting your skills of expression. Um, and also, you know, Leos can be natural born leaders. It could also give you, Saturn's also power and authority. It could give you power and authority as a teacher. You know, you could be a teacher of very serious subjects, or you could just command authority as a teacher. And you could be a very learned professor. Um, and just espouse your truth with Saturn. That's one way to use it. Saturn in your sixth house of health and work, and Virgo's house rules, you know, health and attention to detail, and very analytical. It's Earth sign, ruled by Mercury, and so Saturn could cause separation, delay, or some kind of restriction, maybe with your health, or health problem um, that could, you know, impede your health in some way, or that you could deal with. You know, find different remedies to deal with it, but it could be a hardship for you, or you could use Saturn to pursue, you know, a medical career or any kind of a career, because it would give you the stamina and the drive and the fortitude to strive and go to school for like 20 years or something, where, you know, a lot of the fire signs probably wouldn't dream of that. You know, they would much prefer instant gratification. So that's a positive. That's a positive of Saturn. Um, Also, yeah, well, health. You know, you could either work in the health field, or it could be some kind of sort of restriction. You know, getting sick or something to do with your health. Um, yeah, and just analytical, to use your analytical attention to detail. You could use that as a scientist, just delving into, you know, a lifelong pursuit of, you know, like say looking for the some vaccine. You know, uh, yeah, there's just so many different ways it can manifest. But Saturn could give you in Virgo would give you a very serious, because it rules work. So it could make you an authority in your work. Um, you could be a teacher, because Saturn, you know, is a teaching planet. Or you know, you could teach in some capacity, or you could learn. You could also learn through some hardships, maybe some physical hardships that you've had to endure, and you know, just learn to cope with it. You know, ultimately, it's supposed to bring you to higher learning. You know, but it's not always easy, and sometimes it is difficult. So Saturn in the 7th house is personal relationships, and when you have Saturn in Libra or Saturn in the 7th house of personal relationships, it could cause some separation. Perhaps they break up and go away, or they could die, or they could just find different creative ways of leaving, leaving you. Or they could just be, it could be like marrying an older man or woman, being attracted to an older person, or to a teacher, or a guru, or someone, they say, when you're ready, the right teacher will come along. That could be a Saturnian type individual. Traditionally, they would say, if you have Saturn in the 7th house, you're going to marry late, and that could be the case too, or maybe not at all, or just maybe someone a lot older than you. Or it could just be separation and hardships regarding relationships, or they could just seem very stern to you and very limit your freedom in some way. You could kind of not feel really happy in a relationship, maybe a little trapped. That's a possibility as well. So you could also use it for teaching, teaching, counseling, through personal relationships. Saturn in the 8th house is Scorpio's house. 8th house rules Scorpio and joint finances, intuition. It's a very deep water sign, intuition. So Saturn would deepen the intuition, but it could bring difficulties with joint finances. Say you had an inheritance or something, it could bring some conflict or difficulty into that. You may have to work harder to communicate, or to, or you could spend a lifetime building your resources jointly with another person. But it may feel burdensome. Within this partnership, because you have Saturn there sitting on your joint finances. So, it would take hard work, and you could use it for hard work to build your whatever you're building together, because Saturn does give you the discipline to work very hard. So, that's the blessing of Saturn. We use it that way. But the hardship of Saturn is when people die, and they because Scorpio is the house of transformation, the sign of transformation. So it could be that a loved one dies and leaves you an inheritance, maybe, but it's extreme hardship to lose someone you love. So these are just different scenarios of there's a million ways it could manifest. But it would make emotions, because Scorpios are so emotional, all the water signs are, and it would make emotions a lot more challenging to deal with. A lot more challenging, maybe some really deep stuff coming up from childhood or past life that you have to deal with and process could be coming up for you to deal with, and ultimately to heal it and to transform it. And that's what Scorpio does. So Saturn in the 9th house in Sagittarius, it's been transiting there. So it's a lot of multiculturalism, a lot of we're seeing the whole refugee crisis, and just a lot of dual cultures. It's causing restrictions on borders, all kinds of things. So Saturn and Sag, or the 9th house, could could lead you to higher learning. I mean, it could really make like going to law school or getting your BA or your master's degree just not a big deal for you. You would just breeze through it because you have this lifelong love of learning and the stamina and the patience to do that. Yeah, it would make for a good judge. Judge anything to do with the law, teaching. Yeah, and foreign travel, learning through foreign travel. Yeah, it could cause some separations or delays though, so when you are traveling, just beware of separation and delay, because that could be Saturn causing that. So in the 11th house, Saturn in the 11th house could be, it's Aquarius' house of friendship and hopes and wishes and friendship and groups. So Saturn could cause you to be perhaps an authority in groups, maybe like a cop or, some government official or, some authority figure in a group. Or it could cause you to climb to the top in your field, whatever it is. Or, just maybe it would give you definitely a more somber outlook. Some of your friendships would be very deep and serious. And some of the groups, maybe if you formed a group, they would be of a more serious nature, so there's just many ways that it could manifest as well. So Saturn in the 12th house in Pisces, I think could be a challenging placement by aspect or by transit rather, or natally. If you're born with it, it could because it rules the unconscious. It could just make a lot of the stuff coming up in the unconscious hard to process. Sometimes Saturn can be the father. You may have father issues that are coming up and that you need to deal with, or your father somehow impacted your life and is coming up for you, or it could affect your intuition, or it could just be you're very prolific, because Jupiter also rules Pisces, so it could be that you're a very prolific artist, and just a lifelong pursuit of your art in whatever form it may take. And your intuition would be very, very strong, and you could use that to teach, maybe to teach people different paths of healing, that could be a possibility. So, but the processing the unconscious part could possibly come up for you. So, but there's always positives and negatives to each manifestation. We really don't know. That's why astrology is so important, and we have free will, and we can work with the planets to a degree, but we can't predict the outcome. We really can't. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and come to a new understanding of Saturn. All right, thank you for listening.